All right, we are live, and we have Ariel Olivetti with us. This is a huge thrill for me. I'm an enormous fan of Ariel's work. I'm sure that all of you are too. Ariel says thumbs up. We also have Juan Pedrino here, who's going to translate, and we have Eric and obviously me. I want to mention before we start that Ariel has some incredible courses up on Domestika. I've got a link in the description for the video, so you can find that there. I highly recommend it. I have been basing the painting that I've been doing really entirely on Ariel's acrylic painting course. At some point, I'd like to try the watercolor course. I'm very afraid of watercolor, but at some point, I'd like to get there. So the way that this is going to work is, and I will show you guys, we have us all here. And what I'm going to do is mostly focus on Ariel, because we're going to follow him, and then we will just switch back, give you a view of Eric's, and here's mine, and here's Juan. And so, Juan, if you want to let Ariel know that, well, I'm sure Ariel, you can understand. We're ready to start. So if you have anything that you'd like to say, please feel free.
I am ready, David. Okay, I'm ready. Hello, everybody. Hello, and thank you very much, Dave, for your invitation. And I am very happy and excited for this opportunity. I'm ready to work.
Okay, great.
And the first step, I recommend to do a base, the color base here. I will paint with the red base and blue base, and then I will work the volume, the lights with the skin color. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
The first layer, I will use just water, no more. And for the next layers, I will use this diluent, the acrylic. Yeah.
Okay, and that is like a matte medium?
Yeah, this is a matte medium. Okay. No, this is shine, but I recommend matte.
Okay.
But I haven't.
I think
but I recommend the matte.
If you really know what you're doing, it does not matter. But
no,
for us,
let me check. I'm here. I have.
Okay.
This is matte. Why? Because this matte, if you paint with a shine, you never know when the paint is está seco. ¿Cómo es que se dice, Juan, cuando está seca la pintura?
I think we temporarily lost one, but he should be back in just a moment.
Is here Juan?
Here he is.
Well, okay.
Oh, we lost him.
No problem.
Okay.
I will paint.
I'm thinking that you were... Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, for the first step, I need to put water in the old Illustrator to get the paint to can paint very easy.
Yeah, to thin the paint out. Yeah.
Okay. No, I think Eric that he was saying he's going to wet the paper.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
I recommend a big brush for that. Yeah. Not this very small, too small brush. You can put the hour, the water. I will put the ultramarine blue.
Okay.
And the red. The red.
And so still with the big brush. All right.
Big brush. Big brush for the first step. Just water and paint. Without a fry, no problem for this big brush. And now the blue.
Okay. Already the brushstrokes are so beautiful that you're doing. And
Yeah.
I want to quickly show you where I am. Not so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Well, I use usually that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. But I will say, as much as there's a beauty to those, it already looks incredible, and I haven't achieved that, Eric. Let's see.
You need to dry very well the first step to can add another layer. Yeah.
Okay.
I would add another layer with more red and blue. Juan, ¿estás ahí?
I think we might be able to add him, David. I think.
Juan, is he there or not?
I don't think he can hear us.
No, I've got a hairdryer, so I'm going to go ahead and do that quickly too.
Okay.
So we have a question.
Yeah.
Is your underdrawing ink or is it pencil?
Is ink.
Okay. So I have mine dry. I'm going to go ahead on my brush and put on a little layer.
Okay. No more. And now, we can add the more shadows with the same color, but not with water medium. I will use this medium, yeah, because it's more it's more similar to the acrylic texture, yeah. It's more too easy to can add the details.
Okay.
So.
Hey guys, can you hear me now?
Yes. Oh yeah, we got you.
Oh,
Hola,
sorry, I
Juan.
was backstage.
Ya.
Un gusto, Ariel. Mil disculpas, mil disculpas.
Estaba ahí reclamando tu presencia porque mi inglés es pésimo.
No, estás haciendo muy bien. He's actually very good at speaking English, actually.
Yes.
I'm surprised.
Juan, si puedes aclarar entonces
¿Sí?
que en la primer capa solo mezclamos con agua y en acrílico muy diluido, y ahora voy a agregar algunas sombras más, pero con el diluyente de acrílico.
Yeah. He says that the first layer is always a very thin paint with water, a lot of water. So it's not very opaque, it's very translucent acrylic paint. And the next layer is going to be with ese es el matte medium, ¿no? Como le llama, ¿no, Ariel?
Sí.
The next layer is the matte medium.
Okay,
The first layer is very thin acrylic paint.
Okay. And we're using the same colors, it looks like.
Sí.
Sorry, Dave, what was that?
I said it looks like we're using the same colors.
Yeah, I'm using a bit of a more reddish kind of purple, but I hope it works.
Well, what I mean is the same colors as we used on the first layer. So we were using ultramarine blue and cadmium red.
Yeah. Son los mismos colores, ¿verdad, Ariel?
Son los mismos colores. The same.
Yeah.
Okay.
The same colors.
But you can change.
Oh no.
You can use more red. Could be.
I would like to follow as closely as I can.
Perdón.
Si quiere seguirte lo más cercano posible a lo que estás haciendo.
Okay.
This is a huge opportunity, not only for me, but for all of us. And I want to make sure to get as much out of it as I possibly can. So I think I already said thank you for coming, but thank you again for coming. This is a big deal.
Sí, dice que no quiere tener ninguna falla, así que va a intentar seguirte todo.
Perfecto.
Y que
Decirle
está muy agradecido de que hayas...
con este diluyente, con el diluyente este, es muy fácil hacer los volúmenes esfumando con el dedo o simplemente con el pincel, porque la pintura es mucho más densa, más espesa.
He says that with the medium, it's really easy to get the volumes, the shapes of the muscles and stuff. Because, ¿por qué la pintura era qué, Ariel?
Porque la pintura con agua solamente es muy difícil de manejar, es muy difícil de trabajar. Y con este diluyente se hace más densa la pintura, más pesada, y es más fácil para trabajar con el pincel o con el dedo.
He says that with the matte medium, it's easier to work with acrylic paint because it becomes like more dense, and you can easily get really nice gradients with your finger or with another brush.
I'm actually, and well, I'll show you quickly. I'm just using another brush now. My base layer does not look as nice, but I'm going on and putting on some paint, and then I'm just softening it with a slightly damp brush, and it's really working for me very well with medium.
He says,
Como dice Juan.
Dave dice que él está usando otro pincel para hacer las difuminaciones, y que utiliza un pincel un poco mojado, dijo algo así, un poquito, para hacer las
Está
difuminaciones.
bien. recomiendo usarlo solo con el medium porque es más fácil todavía para trabajar.
O sea, solo con el medio en el pincel.
Sin mezclarlo con agua en esta parte.
Ariel says that it's easier to use the medium, just the medium without a
No
damp
water.
brush. Sí,
Okay.
no water.
And I am using water.
It's more easy. It's more easy to.
I have been using water. I'm going to switch that right now. Oh, I just dipped my brush in water again. Hold on.
Dice que lo acaba de mojar su pincel otra vez en agua.
No pasa nada. It's no problem.
It's okay, Dave.
All right.
You can paint with water, but the result is too similar to the watercolor, like that. And with the medium, you can work with it's too easy to do the shadows, the volume.
Already it's feeling much easier for me than it was even just a minute ago. It's really working very nicely.
Sí, dice que ahora es más fácil, así solo como le dijiste. Es más fácil ahora que antes.
Great. Okay.
I think we lost Eric.
No, I'm here. I'm just.
I know you're here. You're quiet.
Eric,
I'm trying to follow. I'm like.
you are fighting with your draw.
Yeah, with the paint. Yeah, trying to make sure I define the shapes properly. Yeah.
I will use this red with the medium to do some color, the different colors in some places.
Okay.
It's more interesting.
¿Los lugares son así aleatorios, Ariel, donde le estás poniendo ese tono?
¿Cómo, perdón?
¿Esos lugares donde le estás aumentando ese tono son específicos o en cualquier lugar?
No. Son lugares donde yo quiero que... Esto es para que la piel no tenga un color uniforme. Para que la piel vaya teniendo distintos tonos de color y sea más interesante para la vista.
Yeah, he says that he's adding that color he just mixed in like random places, just so that the skin doesn't look like flat, you know. So it has it's more interesting. The skin tone is more interesting. He's adding some colors.
We just had a super chat, and I apologize. It's very difficult to negotiate everything here. So it was doesn't the paint just dry on the brush without water? I'm not finding that's been an issue for me, and I think if you're just using paint, it's too thick. But with medium, and I'm using quite a bit of medium, and it's working. I think it's a matter of getting comfortable with your amounts, like how much medium versus how much paint.
Yeah, that's exactly what Ariel was saying earlier. You know, only use the medium and the paint. Don't use water or anything like that. Only the medium and the paint.
And it definitely seems to work.
Okay, well, the first step is ready. Yeah, we have the illustrator, the paint ready to work on the lights. On the lights, I will to put the final color. So I will try to do the skin tone, the skin color too similar to the final skin. I would use the black white. I'm sorry, white. I will use carmine or red cadmio, and yellow. You can use the yellow cadmio, yellow, or Naples.
Okay.
The Naples. And I will use this acrylic, and this different from the first acrylic. The first acrylic is the Liquitex is a good acrylic, but this acrylic is to a student. Decirle, Juan, que este acrílico no tiene mucho poder cubritivo. No es, it's no professional acrylic.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's using a entry-level type of acrylic. It's not. It doesn't have a lot of power for like covering a lot of a bigger area.
Yeah, but to the last step to work on the lights, I need the acrylic with a very professional or the good quality to can para poder tapar, ¿cómo se dice en inglés? Para poder cubrir.
Cover the whole image.
Yeah, exactly. To cover the base.
Okay.
Yeah. I recommend to use the Liquitex professional line is really, really good. Yeah. This one is not that.
Okay.
This is a basic. So I will use this one. This is no watch. It's a acrylic watch. No, it's not that. It's acrylic.
Okay. Perfect. All right.
So
I'm
Dave, are you going
badly
straight to
rushing
light?
to catch up, but I'm almost there.
And I will use the paint just mixing with the medium.
Okay. So no water again.
No
Dave-
water. No
Dave-
water. No water.
Dave, are you going straight to lights, or are you gonna?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna have to add more background here.
I
Wow.
think Eric, you should do the same thing. I really want to follow as closely as possible, and then I feel like if we fall behind, which we will, which is totally okay, there's always time afterwards. But following as you're doing this, Ariel, it's I feel like already I've learned quite a bit just in terms of not using water and using just matte medium. Is I've never done it, and it worked very nicely.
Yeah, my issue is just my wash was not dark enough.
Si están diciendo que solo con esto que les dijiste de no usar el agua, ya han aprendido mucho con ese pequeño tip que les diste.
Es que cambia mucho la forma de trabajar. And I recommend to use the big brush to the big volumes areas, and don't use the smaller brushes, and use the smaller just for the details. Yeah, for the details like that, and but for the everything, I like to use the big brush and not cover like that over the superfice. You can use the fingers to paint the fingers, the paper, and well, I will try to do this skin color.
¿Y el azul, Ariel, siempre le añades azul?
El color piel tiene un poco de azul siempre, y en el caso de Bane, que en la sangre le corre un líquido verde, va a tener que tener azul sí o sí.
I was asking Ariel about that blue that he added to get the skin tone, and he says that skin tones always have a little bit of blue, but in this case of Bane, that he has the liquid running in his body, you know, the blue is actually quite an important color to get a skin tone.
Okay. Usually, I prefer to work with the brush with this form. Se llama lengua de gato. The cat tongue, cat tongue point.
Yeah, it's the filbert. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a flat. I don't have a filbert. I need to get one. So I'm gonna use a flat, but I think it will give me harder edges a little bit.
Yeah, the flat is okay, but it's very hard. Como se dice, Juan, que la terminación es muy dura para mí.
The edges, los límites, ¿no? Como los bordes.
Claro, los bordes quedan muy duros.
Yeah, he's saying that the edges, like you were saying, the edges are going to look very hard edges, but it can work too.
Just more effort to lose that.
Yeah, use your finger.
I am. I'm doing it. I'm using my finger.
Yeah. Obviously.
But my next time at the art store, that's going to be my first stop. That looks absolutely beautiful already.
Yeah, it does. So Dave, what color was Ariel using here again? It was the
cadmium red with cadmium yellow. Obviously, if it's not cadmium, it's fine. And white and blue. So just some blue to kind of gray it out. White to
okay,
kind of gray it out, you know.
If you need to paint the beaver superfly, it's convenient to use more medium.
Okay. I'll get a little more here. I feel like I was getting a little bit dry. So hopefully all of you that are watching are following along. We're working out a clip here, so it's going to be tough to keep up. But
sorry, I accidentally added myself to this. I wanted to go on mute so I could use the hairdryer, and I added myself to the screen. So, yeah, I'm falling behind bad here.
It's okay though. It really, I'm here to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was a super chat by Aaron Adams. My pencil underdrawing almost disappeared when I went over with acrylic. Any tips for avoiding this?
I don't think
6-year-old Noah is drawing along and says hello.
Hello. I don't think it's really avoidable. I've kind of lost mine a little bit too. Now I'm not using pencil. Step number 1 is to use colored pencil and not pencil. So I'm using black colored pencil. I know you are too, Eric. That certainly really helps. I know Ariel for this one used ink, but he's also used pencil before, and either one works. For my part, and I'm not worrying about it right now, but I can always go back in and darken my lines where they need it. So I'm not concerned about that. Well,
that looks incredible already.
We're separating the men from the boys right now.
Quickly. The acrylic technique is really quickly, but you can add a lot of details then, but the material is really good, well to do lights and shadows and color, brilliant color, and it's a nice technique. I prefer to use oil over the acrylic, but
Now,
the just acrylic is good too.
so why do you prefer to use oil?
Okay,
Over?
yeah, because if you work in the first step acrylic, you have the acrylic base, and with the colors, the fundamental colors, very dry and quickly resolved. And with the oil, you can use the oil to do the degree very perfect, yeah. And the oil propriety is is very strong. The color is very strong, and the coverage is more than the acrylic.
Okay.
The problem with the oil that you need 2 or 3 days to dry. That.
Yes, and for my part, I have a hard time with oil fumes. I think I'm allergic, so I kind of have to stay away from oil.
Mm-hmm.
I've used it before, and it can be difficult. It can be really incredible to use, and it can be very frustrating to use all at the same time. But I just find for me, I'm not able to really use it.
So, David, there's 2 super chats. Daniel Castelli, doesn't the acrylic dry in the brush without water?
Yeah, actually, and thank you so much, Daniel. I'm not finding that that's been a problem so far. I think probably a good idea to go ahead and clean the brush every once in a while, just so you don't build up. But matte medium seems to take quite a bit longer to dry than just basic acrylic. So I'm not finding I'm having trouble with that.
And then Trenton Massey, this all looks awesome. Loving it. Quick question. Does the blue, I'm not seeing that. Does the blue symbolize cutting circulation on Bane's wrist band? Even if it's not, it still is awesome.
I don't know if it's symbolic that way, but it does look awesome.
I asked that to Ariel.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Ariel, te preguntan si el azul es simbólico de que, porque lo pusiste ahí por sus manos, ¿no? Si es simbólico de alguna cosa, que la circulación de sus venas que se cortan por ahí, si lo pusiste ahí por ese motivo.
Sí, porque ahí voy a después a ponerle algunas veladuras, algunas capas, para ir mezclándolo con verdes. Se va a ir, a medida que se acerca a los brazos que están apretados ahí, lo voy a ir transformando el color de la piel en verde.
He says he actually did that on purpose to put the blue there, because later on when he's putting the thin layers, that area is going to be different. The skin tone is going to be different because there's less circulation there. So he put the blue there for a reason, actually.
That makes sense, and it certainly looks different already. Not only on yours, but on mine. Just the blue underlayer, it really affects the paint that goes over it.
Bueno, ahora voy a pasar un pincel un poco más chico para empezar a definir algunas luces y algunos detalles.
He's moving to a smaller brush to do a little more detail and more lights.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do the same.
Está quedando buenísimo, Ariel.
Está quedando bueno. Pero que es importante en el momento que uno hace el dibujo, pensar en volúmenes de color. Entonces, uno cuando define la ilustración, cuando empieza a pintar y el dibujo está bien plantado para el volumen, se pinta solo prácticamente. Se pinta muy rápido, a eso voy. No hay que pelear mucho con la ilustración.
See, he says that when you're drawing, when you're making the drawing, you have to already have some indication of all the volumes and stuff with the shading and all that stuff, so that when you're painting, you don't fight to try to find the volumes. You know, you have to have a really good drawing underneath.
I think that is a very good point that we don't really talk about enough. Is I'm so obsessed with the kind of the process of painting that it's easy to forget that really the most important part and the thing that's going to determine the success of a picture more than anything is it's the actual underlying drawing and having that stuff realized. So it certainly makes sense to me.
Bueno, sí, dice que sí, que a veces muchas personas que saben mucho de pintura se olvidan de hacer un buen dibujo, ¿no? Pero realmente es muy importante tener en tu dibujo ya algunos volúmenes definidos y todo eso.
Claro, tener el dibujo definido y saber cuál es la fuente de iluminación. Saber de dónde viene la luz, aunque no lo hayas dibujado en el dibujo de base, saber dónde viene la luz para ser coherente después en toda la ilustración, hacerle caso a esa fuente de iluminación. Si no, puede quedar un dibujo muy, muy confuso, el resultado final.
Sí. He says that it's very important to have a nice drawing and also to have to know where your light source is, you know, so that you can have a very consistent drawing, know where the light's coming from.
Yeah, I think because we did a drawing beforehand with lighting established, I think that really definitely put us in a good spot to just start being able to put in color and volume without fighting. So, yeah. Now, in just a minute here, I want to show you guys where I'm at, and let's see where Eric is.
You don't want to see mine.
Apologies, Eric. Now, I don't want to show anybody mine either, and I hate to interrupt Ariel. Maybe I'll wait till
Dicen que tienen miedo de mostrar los suyos, que tienen un poco de vergüenza comparado
¿Por
con
qué? No.
We'll make it quick because I don't want to miss anything. All right. So here's where I'm at right now. And
Yo trabajo muy rápido, eso es lo que...
He says he works very fast.
He certainly does, yes. Now, I will say mine certainly doesn't look like Ariel's whatsoever, but I am still thrilled.
Wow, it's really good. It's really nice.
It's awesome, Dave. It's amazing.
Thank you. It feels so comfortable to do. All right, now let's see where. And
I haven't even started on lights yet. I was correcting a bad mistake, so I'm gonna rush and catch up.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Really, you're definitely falling behind, but the process so far is looking really good. And yeah, I'm faster than you are, Eric.
Yes.
And Ariel's certainly faster at this than I am. So we're all, and I mean, the result is stunning. Look at that.
I know. That's incredible.
And this is why this is such an enormous treat for us to have. The amount of people that have the ability to do this in the world, the way that Ariel does, at the level that he's able to do it, I think you can count on one hand, and you don't need all your fingers. So,
dicen que están muy impresionados con tu velocidad y con todo lo que
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, friends. I really enjoy it. Decirle que traten de no usar el blanco puro para aclarar, porque si no la paleta de colores, los colores van a quedar muy apastelados, van a perder fuerza. Eso es importante.
Yeah. Pues el blanco no es el mismo que el matte medium, ¿no? El blanco es, o sea, un color aparte.
No, claro, el matte medium después se hace transparente, no importa.
Yeah. He says that you should never use white to do the highlights. You should never mix with white because the colors turn very like pastel, kind of like very like dull.
You
should never use white with when you're doing the highlights and stuff.
And so for your highlights, Ariel, what are you using?
¿Qué estás usando para las luces?
Estoy usando blanco, pero mezclado con amarillo y con el color de la piel. No el blanco puro.
He means not pure white. He means
Okay.
white always
Oh, yeah,
mixed
yeah.
with another color.
Okay, perfect. Somebody early on was saying that we had a bit of an echo. I put headphones on. Hopefully that helped with that. I completely forgot, and it causes that every time. So I'm hoping that sorted that out. Eric, this is the quietest you've ever been.
I am sweating. The sweat is running down my face.
You have no idea.
I'm having a blast, an absolute blast. I mean, getting to see Ariel do this.
Just enjoy.
Yes, getting Ariel to see this live is an absolute pleasure. It's just beautiful. The results that we can see happening live on screen.
It really feels like magic, and there's no trick to it. The trick is, I think, years of dedication. I mean, you can't possibly get to the level that Ariel's at without, and it's not just painting. When you look at the picture that he's doing, the anatomy that's there, the pose, just compositionally, the shot's beautiful. There's so many things that go into it. But the great thing about following along the way that we are is that while we might not be at that level, it'll bring us that much closer, hopefully.
Yeah, it's definitely just adding to the tool set and seeing the actual process that he's using and following along. I think will help in the long run, definitely.
Yes.
Si te dicen que mirarte así en vivo realmente les ayuda mucho, ¿no? A aprender un poco más de cómo realmente se logra llegar al nivel que tú tienes, ¿no? Que realmente están muy impresionados no solo con tu pintura, sino que toda la composición, la anatomía, todo eso también es muy importante.
Oh, thank you very much, Dave. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow.
I am a really fan of your work.
Oh, well, thank you. We have worked together on quite a few things, not directly, but done covers together. I know you were doing Cable covers and some X-Men covers, and I was doing X-Men covers around the same time. So we have a lot of kind of mutual history.
¿Qué dice Juan?
Dice que tienen historia, ¿no? Que tú estás haciendo algunas portadas para Cable, yo igual las estaba dibujando, que han trabajado en algunos proyectos así indirectamente, ¿no? Que han trabajado en algunas cosas.
Sí. It's true. In Cable, yeah, I remember.
Yep.
Ahí tienes una cosa en tu cámara, en la parte de arriba, que lo está tapando.
A ver. Están tapando.
I was just telling Ariel there's something in his camera to fix that.
¿A mí? A ver.
Sí, Ariel hay una cosa así.
¿Ahí?
Ahora sí, perfecto.
Ahí está, perfecto.
All right. Henry Jeremick is here, and he says, Eric Grove, you got me instead. Sorry, Henry. Can you please thank Ariel for coming on the channel and that the people watching appreciate his time? We hope that he will be back again when he can. Thank you. Yeah. On behalf of all of us, again, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. And now Ariel, it looks like he's moving into highlights. So I'm going to start I'm turning way toward my palette and I keep losing the microphone, but I'm going to start angling that way myself.
¿Sigues aumentando las luces, no, Ariel?
Sí, le agregué un poco de blanco. No quiero llegar al blanco puro porque me lo estoy reservando para alguna luz, algún brillo en especial.
Yeah, he says like you were saying, Dave, he's adding the highlights still. He's always adding a little bit more white to the mix, but he doesn't want to get to pure white. He will leave the pure white only for the final stage to add certain really strong highlights.
Do you find, Ariel, that this is faster for you than drawing? Now, obviously, you have to draw first, so I guess that's a stupid question. I take it back.
Do I ask him?
You know what? Let me put it this way. When I ink, I take forever with a million little lines. And when I paint, I'm not faster just because I'm not as I'm not where I need to be with it. But I get the impression that Ariel could paint significantly faster than I could draw.
Ayer te preguntan si te sientes que eres más rápido, digamos, cuando pintas que cuando, digamos, quieres hacer un dibujo entero así a pura tintas.
Tardo lo mismo. Si un trabajo a tinta muy terminado me cuesta la misma cantidad de tiempo que uno a color.
He says
Lo que pasa es que
he
para poder trabajar el color necesito una buena base de dibujo hecho en tinta, quizás. Y entonces sí, me lleva el doble de tiempo, porque tengo que hacer primero el dibujo. Acá en este caso, por ejemplo, primero hice unos bocetos, ideas, después un boceto final y después la tinta esta.
He says it usually takes him the same amount of time when he wants to do like a really good, like pure ink drawing, that when he's painting. But also when he wants to do a really good painting like this one, he was showing he has a whole process to get the drawing, just the basic black and white drawing with the inks right, you know. So when he wants to do something like this, it takes him twice the amount of time, you know, because he first has to do the very good ink drawing and then
Right.
add the painting.
Yes, absolutely. Which is why I said that's kind of a stupid question. So yeah, of course.
No, it was okay, Dave. Don't be so hard on yourself.
Ah, you're
Yeah.
nice. And besides one, if I don't ask the stupid questions, who will?
No. There aren't stupid questions. There aren't. No exist.
It's actually pretty hard to translate, focus on all that stuff and paint at the same time. So I'm not going to finish this stuff tonight. I'm gonna leave it.
How do you feel like it came along for you so far? Just process-wise, do you feel like it was working and it was making sense for you?
Are you asking me or Ariel?
Yes. No, I'm asking you.
I left it at the basic, the first step, and then adding some shadows. And then I said, man, this is pretty difficult. So I better do it with calmly. But actually, thank you. I have to thank you very much, Dave, for allowing me to do this. It's awesome, you know. And Ariel is also one of I really love his work. You know, he's a South American, you know, like hero in the world of comic book artists. So thank you for giving me this chance.
Yes, well, and thank you so much for being a part of it.
Ariel le estaba diciendo que realmente le agradezco que me haya dado esta oportunidad, ¿no? Porque realmente soy muy fan tuyo y es un honor así es poder hablarte de esta manera, ¿no?
No, el agradecido soy yo, que me estás ayudando. Que yo soy un indio comanche para hablar en inglés.
No, está muy bueno tu inglés. Más bien no necesitabas mucha ayuda, pero voy a hacer lo que pueda.
Well, I paint the base to paint the lights in the mask. The mask.
Oh no, I was looking down. I missed it. Okay, so what color for the base for the mask? And okay, two questions. For the mask base, did you just use water again?
Yeah, for the base, I just use water.
Okay.
And now I will paint the lights with the medium.
Okay.
Yeah, the medium is my friend. And the base is blue, but the light will be in gray scale.
Okay.
I can put some blue in the gray. Just a bit, just a little. Okay.
Now, I don't
Una
know
vez
about-
que le pones la base, esa base azul, ese va a ser el color más oscuro, ¿no? Ya no vas a oscurecer más con...
No. Como el acrílico tiene poder cubritivo, yo voy a ir tanteando, voy a ir probando. Eso es lo bueno que tiene el acrílico. Yo puedo superponer, siempre estoy a tiempo de oscurecer y de aclarar. Eso es lo bueno que tiene el acrílico y el óleo. Entonces, yo puedo ir aclarando, pero si en algún momento veo que necesito dar una capa y oscurecer con algún color, lo puedo hacer tranquilamente.
Yeah, I was asking Ariel about once he puts that base tone on the mask, for example, that blue, if he can make it darker, if he wants to make it darker in the next stage. And he says with acrylics, it's pretty easy to do that if he wants to make it lighter or darker with acrylics because they can cover a lot of surface. He can make that decision later.
Yes, that's something. My favorite thing about acrylics is just the coverage ability over watercolor that really. And I never use watercolor because I just don't have the tonal confidence. So,
Exactly.
How's yours coming along, Dave?
well, let me show you where I am here quickly. We'll make this fast. So I've got my blue roughed in. I haven't started with gray yet, and I'm just about to. And
That's crazy good. Yeah.
oh, you got your colors. That's looking really great, Eric. That's really coming along well.
Awesome.
Oh, thanks.
All right, so on to gray.
Good. Could be Eric. Could be you needed the base more darken.
Yes. Yeah, that was a mistake right off. That's something I've had a lot of issues with. In painting with Dave and just trying to get better. And that the base for me is always one of the trickiest things to get right. I never go dark enough. It's like I'm too scared, but I definitely need to work on it. Yeah, if the base is not dark enough, then all other values tend to struggle. I tend to struggle a bit there. Yeah.
He says that getting the base
but
right is
no problem. No problem, because you can add darker or shadow with the medium and acrylic. Then, yeah.
Me confundí hace rato, te empecé a hablar en inglés a ti.
Yeah. It's a nice thing. You can just layer it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Sí, él dice que siempre es un problema para él, siempre hace la base muy clara, ¿no? Sí. Creo que siempre hay ese miedo, ¿no? Cuando empiezas a pintar, lo haces muy
Claro,
claro,
pero es costumbre, es animarse y perder el miedo con la sombra, sabiendo que el material tiene poder de cubritivo, que cubre. Uno puede hacer una base oscura total después, siempre y cuando se siga entendiendo el dibujo. Uno puede jugar con las sombras con negro puro, como hice yo, con el acrílico.
He says that as long as you can still see the drawing, you can go as dark as you can, as you want. And it's a matter of losing that fear of going dark with the base color.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, I've been saying that for ages, and now you've heard it from the master. So there you go. I want to just say quickly, I am doing the grays, and I was having a little bit of trouble. They were kind of going on roughly, and I greatly increased the amount of medium, so it's more medium than paint. And all of a sudden, the result I'm getting is so much easier, and it's flowing better. So I think if it's feels like it's dragging on the brush and it's not really going on the way you'd like, and you're not getting the kind of detail you'd like, more matte medium, I think, is, for me, certainly was the trick.
Yeah, Dave, looking at yours, it just looks so featureful, you know? It's just the colors that Ariel had us use is just works.
This is my first time I've ever done this where I've used a colored background. I've been using sepia for everything. Basically a burnt sienna or a burnt umber, and that's just how I've been doing it, you know? And so, yeah, what a revelation just with the skin tones. The subtlety is incredible.
Yeah, beautiful.
Juan, ¿qué dice que trabajaba usando sepia antes de base?
Sí, siempre la base lo hacía con sepia y ahora que ha visto
Claro.
cómo hace esto el color, cómo cambia el color de piel, ¿no? Cuando le agregas colores
Sí,
a la base.
sí. Es mucho más poderoso.
Sí, he says that it's more powerful when you add different colors because it changes the colors you're going to add on top, you know, so it makes it more interesting.
It really does. I don't see going back. I can't imagine working the way that I was with just that one color. I'm sure you feel the same, Eric.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you know, this is what's frustrating for me. This was in the course, and very well explained too, and I didn't do it. So, you know, this is why it was so important to me to actually follow along step by step and do things properly, because it's easy to just make assumptions when you haven't tried something.
Sí, él dice que tomó tu curso de doméstica, ¿no, Ariel? Y tú explicabas esto igual en el curso, pero él lo estaba siguiendo así como que paso a paso, no está intentando muchas cosas nuevas y por eso es importante, ¿no? Así aprender cosas nuevas.
Está muy bien. El usar sepia de base está muy bien porque el sepia está formado por los 3 colores básicos, entonces es fácil descomponerlos para la luz. Pero cuando usamos otros colores, la transparencia nos hace ver cosas más poderosas.
Yeah, he says it's good to use sepia because sepia is composed by the 3 colors, so it's good to get the highlights right. But when you use different colors for the base, it makes it pop more.
Yes, and it's so much more the look that I've always kind of wanted to achieve, that really beautiful kind of interplay between colors, and it's
Estoy pintando de blanco los ojos porque van a ir de blanco puro, porque después le voy a poner rojo arriba y entonces ese rojo va a tener una fuerza mucho mayor al tener el blanco de base.
He says he's painting the eyes pure white right now because later on he's going to add red. So when he adds the red to the eyes, because it has the white as the base, it's going to pop a lot more.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It really does.
Yeah. Wow.
That really does actually make a lot of sense. All right.
Yeah, because I guess the translucency of the red will pick up the color under it. So if it's white, it'll be a lot starker. Yeah, great.
Y voy a hacer lo mismo con estos tubos que después van a ir pintados con verde, pero como es un verde muy fuerte, necesito que de base se vea blanco.
He says he's doing the same with the tubes, the things that's coming out of Bane's back, because when he adds the green, you know, because it's that chemical thing, and it really needs to pop. So when he adds the white as the base, it gives it that effect to your color that you add on top.
Okay.
A ver, ahí se me manchó un poco el blanco, pero no importa.
So El Padrino, I know it's Juan. It's El Padrino for me. I can't help it now. It's been too long. You are going to do this afterwards, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm going to watch the stream again, and I'm going to paint it because, like I said, I was trying to do it and trying to like focus on translating and painting at the same time. It was going to look like a mess at the end, so I'm going to do it afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, and for everyone following and painting at home and everything, post it on Instagram, and use the tag that we had used before. Maybe Russ can put it in the chat. That Finch Flock Fine Art. It's a real nice way to visit that tag and see everyone's paintings that have been following along. It's always a treat to see what everyone has done.
Yes.
Bueno. Ahora voy a ponerle un poquito de verde con medium a los volúmenes del brazo. Van a ver que va a quedar, los volúmenes van a quedar iguales, pero solo voy a cambiar los colores, porque al ponerle bastante medium y poca pintura, lo que hace es respetar los volúmenes, pero cambiarlos de color.
He says that now he's going to add a bit of green to some of the volumes in the body, but the important part is to add a lot of medium, more medium than paint, just so that you can keep the volumes, and all he's going to do is change the tonality of the color just a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of like a hue shift, yeah.
Tiene que quedar muy transparente, con mucho medium.
It has to be really like transparent with a lot of medium in the paint.
And no water.
No water.
Entonces esta es la técnica, Ariel, para tener esos colores medio raros, así. Es lo que veo que hace mucho Beasley, digamos, y Fraceta, algunos sus
Tal
musclos
cual.
tienen colores como medio raros, ¿no? No
Claro,
sabía
ves
que era
ves
así.
que van cambia la tonalidad, pero no estoy afectando al volumen. El volumen es el que ya hice antes.
Yeah, I was mentioning to Ariel that I always like when on Beasley and Fraceta paintings, there's those with like weird colors on the body, and didn't know it was this technique that he's doing right now. You have to make it real transparent in that color to the volume.
Wow, it looks stunning. I haven't looked up for a bit because I'm trying to keep up, but okay. So green, here we go.
Wow, young green, Dave, ready?
So
you've done his mask as well?
Yeah, somewhat.
Okay.
Okay, so fortunately I don't have green, but I do have blue
Pero
and yellow.
Que vean lo interesante que se genera con el color al poder variar la paleta de esta forma. Con
He
el
says
bilocente nada más.
Yeah, look at the way that there's like how interesting the skin tone looks. When you add those little transparent colors. The volume stays the same, but you're adding different hues to the skin.
Yeah. Yeah, without losing any of the underlying detail or tones.
Yeah, that's why you have to make it really transparent so that you don't lose any of the volume you put earlier.
Ahora voy a hacer lo mismo, pero con un poquito de rojo en algunas zonas.
Now he's going to do the same, but with red instead of green.
Okay.
Y tú ya sabes dónde agregarle esos tonos, ¿no, Ariel? No son en partes así cualquiera. O sea, en los codos siempre son un poco más rojos, algunas partes siempre son más rojas, ¿no?
Sí, en este caso, como el personaje tiene sangre verde, le corre como un líquido verde en algunos lugares, me gustó en esta parte que se va estrangulando acá la carne, ponerla más verde. Pero como te decía antes, el tema de que la carne no sea toda el mismo color, lo hace más interesante la ilustración. Si no, se hace muy monocromática.
I was asking Ariel about how he decides where to put all those colors, where to add all those little hues to the skin, and he was telling me that he knows certain places where it has to be red or whatever, but because Bane has like the green fluid running through his body, he had it on his arms right there because their arms are constricted, right? So there's a lot of blood inside of him in that area, so that's why he added more green to that area. So he's thinking also where to add those little colors to the body.
Okay. I think mine's going to be a little bit more slapdash in terms of where I've been adding my reds and greens, but that certainly makes sense, and I'll be able to use that in the future.
Ahora puedo levantar algunas luces más en algunas partes que quiera del brazo.
He's going to add a little bit more highlights to the arm right now.
Okay. And so this is going back to the yellow, basically the lightened skin tone. So not yellow, but the lightened skin tone.
Dice si estás usando otra vez ese amarillo con blanco, el normal que estaba usando hace rato para hacer las luces ahora.
Ahora estoy mezclando un poco de todo. Un poco de todo. Me interesa que vibre esa parte, que tenga colores que vayan vibrando.
Yes, he's using a little bit of every color right now to do the highlights. He wants really that this part of the arm to pop, so he's using a little bit of everything.
Okay.
That looks fantastic.
It certainly does.
Dave, that trick of Ariel, man, it's such a great trick. Adding white down, like what he's doing for the tubes there, it's such a great trick because the underlying color is not going to mess with what you're putting down.
Yes. Yeah, that absolutely. Now I have to admit I have not done that. That's one part I fell behind on just now, but I figured that one I could catch up. So
yeah.
Sí, dice que eso de poner el blanco como base para esas partes que van a resaltar mucho, que realmente
sí.
es un buen consejo.
I really like how, and it does make sense to me now, you have highlights, you have everything basically brought all the way to dark and all the way to light, and then once you add some variation to the colors, then adding highlights based on, so I put some more green in my highlights for where the arm was more green, and now I'm going to add a little bit more red for a few places where it's a little more red, and that makes sense.
Dice que, o sea, él también está haciendo eso de ponerle un poco de verde, un poco de rojo, ¿no? Y en las luces de esas partes le está aumentando esos colores a la mezcla para las luces.
Oh, we have a $50 super chat from Tagamo Modelworks. Thank you so much, Tagamo. It's very much appreciated. Thank you, Ariel, and you guys for taking the time to show this process. Allows you to thin the paint without losing the vibrancy of the color. The more medium you add makes a color into a glaze, which gives the colors more depth. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, looks great. Wow.
A ver si estoy viendo de acomodar la luz como para que no se vea el brillo.
¿Se ve bien?
Ahí quizás se ve mejor. Bueno. Yo voy a pintar los ojitos.
He's going to paint the eyes now.
Okay.
Y después voy a pintar el fondo de un color neutro.
And then he will paint the background with a neutral color. Y un color neutro, o sea, ¿cuáles serían los colores neutros?
No, puede ser un celeste con gris.
O sea, pero serían más colores un poco apagados, ¿no? O más oscuros.
Claro,
O...
mezclado con gris o apastelados, ¿viste? Mezclado con blanco, quizás.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he says for to get a neutral like background color, you can use any color and mix it with gray or with white to make it kind of like a more of a pastel kind of look, to the background.
Okay. So now
Muy bien.
I am just about to put in the white for my tubes and so I'm a little behind, but not too bad.
Me parece que está haciendo sombra. A ver si puedo corregirlo de la luz.
Sí, un poco, Ariel. Ahí está bien.
Ahí está bien. Me tengo que comprar el aro ese de LED.
See, Ariel is saying that if there's if it looks good with the lighting he has now,
Mm-hmm.
he's asking if you can see the painting.
Oh,
Nice.
yes.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
and
good.
it's showing up very, very well.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
Bueno, vamos a pintar el fondo.
I didn't clean my brush very well, so the whites that I'm putting on are a little pink. But...
Dice que no lo limpió muy bien su pincel, así que se ha quedado un poco de pintura en las pinturas, o sea, de lo antes. Y en las luces se está viendo un poco. Es importante, ¿no? Siempre, después de que añades cada color, siempre dejarlo tu pincel muy limpio para que no...
Es muy importante. Es importante y aparte porque el acrílico seca rápido y puede estropearnos el pincel muy fácil.
Yeah, he says always after adding any color, clean your brush very well because acrylic dries really fast, so it can ruin your brush. And also, like you were saying, Dave, it can leave some of that paint in your highlights. So always after adding a color, clean it.
Okay. Yeah, it's so easy to pollute a color, and I've also destroyed brushes more than once.
Dice que destruye muchos pinceles, Dave.
Sí, yo también. Yo también, sí.
He also destroys a lot of brushes.
The Life Exchange says that green color, it's in the tubes, and it's almost like you can see the color coming through in the lower part of his arms. Nice touch. Yeah, you really can. Right.
Sí, por eso siempre estoy pintando con pinceles de cheaper brush. Nunca tengo pinceles profesionales buenos.
Porque siempre se arruina, ¿no? Al final.
Siempre se arruinan.
Yeah, he says he always uses the cheaper brushes because, if he buys the expensive ones, they're going to end up ruined at the end of the day. So he always uses cheap ones.
Yep.
So what are you doing now, Ariel? Are you with a palette knife?
¿Qué estás haciendo con esa la paleta, esa herramienta que estás usando?
Estoy formando el color de base, que seguramente ahora lo voy a tener que aclarar un poco más. Entonces, pero quiero que sea neutro para que los colores de la figura exploten.
He says he was just mixing some colors to add to the background. So he wants to get a really neutral color right now so that the colors on the figure really pop.
Okay, so he took his palette knife and put it directly on the paper, yeah. Okay. It looks like he mixed it directly on the paper.
All right, got my green tubes in.
Está buenísimo, Ariel. O sea, yo con tenerlo ya hasta aquí, ya me sentiría como Be
Va
careful.
quedando, va quedando.
I was just telling Ariel that it already looks like, if I would have made this, to this point, I would already feel like, I'm a professional artist or something. It looks so
I
great
would
right
say
now.
no. Absolutely.
Wow. Yeah. So good.
Yeah, and the skin looks so real, with all those different. It's not like he was saying earlier. You don't paint the skin just like a single color. That's why he was adding all the greens and the reds. To make
Yep.
it look more realistic, and it really looks awesome. The skin looks real, looks so 3D.
Yes. Oh, Dan Lassard is here. He said, "This is amazing." Sorry, Dan. This is amazing. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for coming by. Really appreciate having you here. And we have Tago Model Works with a super chat for $5. Thank you so much, Tagomo. And he says, "Does Ariel use synthetic or natural hair brushes? And how many styrofoam meat holders does he have saved?" I'm sure quite a few. But for the brushes, one, if you wouldn't mind asking that question.
Ariel, ¿usas los pinceles son de pelo natural o es sintético?
Sintético, sintético.
It's synthetic, the hair on the brushes.
Yeah, my understanding is acrylic will damage natural hair.
Sí, dicen si el acrílico daña los pinceles que tienen el pelo natural.
Y sí. Pero son muy baratos, entonces me duran muy poco.
O sea, ¿el acrílico daña el sintético o el natural de los pinceles?
El acrílico en realidad no tiene un componente que dañe el pelo. Lo que tiene es que una vez que se seca, si uno dejó secar la pintura en el pincel, quedó estropeado para siempre. Entonces yo prefiero estropear uno que es barato a estropear uno que es caro.
He says that acrylic doesn't really have any component that ruins the hair on the brushes. But if you leave your brush with some acrylic paint on it and you let it dry, it's going to ruin the brush forever. So he rather ruin a cheap brush than an expensive brush.
Yes, that certainly makes sense. And
pero trabajar con un pincel bueno hace mucho más fácil el trabajo.
But working with a really good brush, expensive brush, it can make your work easier, a lot easier.
Yo siempre recomiendo para los que están recién empezando comprar los mejores materiales. Los mejores materiales. Y los profesionales pueden usar materiales baratos.
He says for people who are starting, he highly recommends buying really good materials, if you are starting. And for professionals, you can buy the cheap ones if you already know what you're doing.
That actually, it sounds so counterintuitive, but it really makes sense because when you're learning, you want to minimize the amount of variables as much as you can. So I think if the brushes are better, it makes sense.
Sí, dice que es un poco irónico, ¿no? Que cuando estás empezando te compres lo más caro y cuando ya sabes, ya tienes como la habilidad para comprarte cosas baratas.
Exacto, es así.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
So quickly, I'm going to switch over and show you where I am with mine. So this is where I'm just starting to throw in my background here.
Wow, dude.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Thank you.
Wow, beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you very much. You're very supportive. I appreciate it. And Eric, that's looking great. And the lights are really coming through. It's really, I think it looks incredible. You have to be very happy.
Yeah. I think gonna practice this method quite a lot more for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's actually pretty intuitive, Dave.
It really is. It's amazing how comfortable it feels working. Eric, it is 9:20. This is the fastest by far and away we've ever painted.
Yeah.
Ariel dice que ya ha pasado
Sí.
1 hora y 20 y esto es lo más rápido que han pintado hasta ahora, porque antes, digamos, sus streams duraban como 3 horas, ¿no? Pero contigo así viéndote, como que ahora son más rápidos.
Buenísimo, genial, genial.
He says that's awesome, you know, that he can help you with the speed and stuff.
Yes. I really think for both Eric and I, this would have been so much more difficult had we not watched the full course that you have on Domestika. A few times through, I've watched it a few times, and it's still working through with you. There are things that I've certainly learned, but I learned so much just over the last few months, just from that course. And by the way, for any of you that are watching now, and weren't here in the beginning, you can find Ariel's acrylic painting course. It's on domestika.com. It's all in Spanish, but it is all subtitled. I had no trouble following it at all. There's a link in the description of this stream, so I highly recommend you check it out.
Yeah, and also if you're using the Chrome web browser, I don't know about Internet Explorer, but if you go to Domestika, I mean, it's all in Spanish. There's some auto translation, I think, that might be built into the Domestika pages, but I know Chrome can translate for you as well. So
yeah, you know, I have to be honest, Eric, I had no trouble. It was all in Spanish when I signed up. I still was. It wasn't hard. I had no trouble. It was very intuitive. So, and the course itself, again, it's very well translated. So,
Le voy a mostrar ahora esto que es fundamental también para pintar, que es una base para apoyar la mano. Es una base de vidrio para poder pintar y no correr la pintura.
He says that he's showing a very important step right now. He's using that little glass thing to rest his hand so that he can paint the areas that he wants to paint without ruining the other areas. He's covering certain areas with that glass.
Okay. I don't have a glass, so I'm going to have to hover, but I'll have to get one.
Dice que no tiene un vidrio, Ariel. ¿Qué hace?
Ahí tiene que secarlo con el secador de pelo entonces, antes de apoyar la mano.
You have to try it first with a hair dryer. You know, make it the paint dry.
Lo que pasa es que yo, como soy ansioso, apoyo la mano en la pintura fresca y siempre la cago.
Yeah, he says this is just so that he doesn't smudge the fresh paint that he has on the other areas that he's not painting.
Okay.
Ariel, a lot of people are asking what paper you're using.
De 300 gramos por lo menos. 300 gramos de peso.
So ninguna marca, Ariel, en específico, solo el gramaje.
No. Para el acrílico no es tan importante la marca como con la acuarela. La acuarela sí necesitas un papel muy, muy bueno. Con el acrílico lo que necesitas es que sea más bien rígido, porque después de la primer capa que uno le da de acrílico, ya queda plastificado el papel.
He says that he's using 300-gram paper. The brand is not really important for acrylic. You know, for stuff like watercolor, you know, maybe you need a specific brand, but for acrylic, as long as it's 300 grams or more, anything can work.
Okay.
Great.
And I think I am good there. The paper that I'm using is nothing great. It's actually when I go to conventions, they always give me paper. You know, I go to conventions with like I have a convention manager basically, and so they get the commission list and they get all that stuff all ready to go, and they give me paper, and it's never like the best. It's never my favorite, but I'm finding it's working really well with this. So I can't remember exactly what type it is, but I do know it's nothing expensive.
You're not using the Strathmore?
No, I'm using, this is 8.5 by 11. All the Strathmore stuff, for the most part, all of it actually is all larger, and I wanted to work at the correct size for this. So I dug out some of the sketch paper that I had laying around.
Yeah, the paper I'm using here is, I know it's the same paper that David and I have used previously. It's the mixed media Strathmore, and I think it's 300 gram. Let me see. Yeah, 300 gram, and it works pretty well. There's enough of a texture there where you can put pencil down.
Yeah,
pretty smoothly.
And we really have not used pencil this process at all. I've done a couple of painting streams. Well, we've done, Eric, the two of us done a couple, and it's been very pencil intensive. So it's actually really great to see just how much I can get without really resorting to that at all. And I think it's still a great tool, and I won't stop using it, entirely. But I really like this more direct approach.
Absolutely.
I can comment that to Ariel, Dave,
Sure,
about
yeah.
the pencils and stuff. Ariel, dicen que antes utilizaban los lápices de colores, ¿no? Para agregar algunos detalles en medio del proceso, pero ahora, como te están viendo a ti, y no utilizaste lápices de colores hasta ahora, que es algo nuevo para ellos, ¿no? Porque en los anteriores sí utilizaban muchos los lápices de colores.
¿En mis dibujos? ¿O en los de...
No, en los que ellos hicieron antes, en las pinturas que hicieron antes.
Sí, no, yo trato de, si bien no está mal usarlos, pero se genera una textura que a mí no me gusta mucho. Pero sí, se puede usar lápiz de color, se puede usar pastel al óleo también para retocar, se puede usar acuarela también arriba del acrílico, todo lo que ustedes quieran usar. Yo recomiendo los pasteles neocolor también, que dan una textura muy, muy linda.
Yeah, he says that you can use, color pencils or watercolors or oil pastels, like he was mentioning, but he doesn't really use color pencils on this one because like I was saying, he doesn't use color pencils because it can leave like a weird texture that he doesn't like, but you can use it if you want.
It does. I do find you have to be very careful with colored pencils, especially just raw on top of the paint. They really have a texture that it's not as nice.
Ok. Bueno, yo lo que así ya puede estar terminado. Lo que pasa es que en una ilustración nunca hay un punto final. Siempre uno quiere agregarle detalles o cositas, pero como para mostrar la técnica, yo creo que con esto alcanza bien.
Yeah, he says that like as an artist, you when you're doing a piece, you always feel like you can add something, to you never feel like you're finished. But he says that for showing the technique, he feels that he completed the piece.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's
showing
amazing.
And for creating an absolutely incredible image that I think is as finished as it could. That is unbelievable.
Beautiful.
Está buenísimo, una obra ya.
Porque gracias. Lo que quiero mostrar es que a veces no es necesario hacer el detalle ínfimo, sino que lo más importante es el primer golpe de impacto, ¿no? Visual. Y eso lo logramos en la primera hora de trabajo. Todo lo demás es siempre agregarle detalle, pero lo importante es lograr el primer impacto en la primera hora.
He says that you can always keep adding more and more details, but you always need to reach that point where you can feel that the piece it has a lot of impact, and you always reach that point in the first hour of working, So you can always keep adding more and more detail, but as long as it had the piece already has some impact, you can be happy with it.
Yes, absolutely, and I firmly agree. It's very much about the impact of the picture, and this is why I'm a huge fan of Frank Frazetta. He would do incredible detail close to the center of his picture, and then fade things out not only in detail but also in value away from center of interest. And it's so much more interesting than an artist that just details everything all the way out. It's more work, but I think you get a weaker result.
Sí, Ariel dice que a Dave le gusta mucho como Frank Frazetta, por ejemplo, en sus piezas, siempre le pone todo el detalle, digamos, a la pieza central y todo lo demás le deja un poco menos detallado, ¿no?
Exacto. Aparte, tiene que ver con el grado de compromiso que uno tiene con el dibujo con el que está pintando y lo que quiere mostrar también. Si uno lo que quiere mostrar es muchos detalles, está perfecto gastar 2 días haciendo detalles, pero si uno lo que quiere mostrar es el impacto visual del contraste, de la paleta de colores, eso se tiene que lograr en la primera hora. Y después lo demás es retocar, pero en la primera hora eso tiene que estar resuelto ya.
Yeah, he says that it also has to do with the mindset or the goal you want to get with your painting or your drawing. If the point is to add a lot of detail, you can spend like 2 days, on a painting. But if your goal is to just have a really powerful piece and to show like very interesting colors and your technique and stuff, and you want to get to that visual impact, you have to get that in the first hour of working.
The first hour. I'm going to translate that to 3 for me.
Muy rápido.
Pero lo que digo, no terminar la ilustración en 1 hora. Digo, lograr el impacto que nosotros estábamos buscando en 1 hora. Después lo demás es, sí, el acabado de la ilustración, pero el impacto que estamos buscando lo tenemos que tratar de conseguir en la primera hora.
Yeah, he says that not finish the whole thing, in an hour, but getting the visual impact of your piece that you want to get, you have to get that, in the first hour, to get the basic like power of the image in the first hour. And then you can spend all the time you want on the details and stuff.
Okay, and that certainly makes sense, and I think you could certainly see it. A whole lot quicker than an hour. It was within 15 minutes, I think, of starting when Ariel's really, you could see the even before the lights, just with the wash, it was so nicely put down. And once just a few lights were put in, it is amazing already, and it felt like a finished image. And since then, it's felt like just refining it. So yeah, absolutely.
It's just such a pleasure watching Ariel work live like this.
It really is. Yeah. So I finished mine also. Just gonna quickly put that up. Now, I'm a little loose, I'll admit.
Wow.
I had to, make do here and there, but I'm very happy with.
Perfect. It's beautiful.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy with the tone in the skin. Something I've never been able to do, and it was it felt like I wasn't doing anything. So it was
David, that was fast, an hour and a half. So.
Yeah. It's great. It's great because you can. Él pudo lograr lo que yo estaba buscando con la piel, que la piel tenga distintos tonos, y quedó fantástico. Decirle.
Yeah, he says that you totally got that thing that he was trying to do with the skin to have all those different tonalities in the skin, and you did it perfectly, and it looks great. The skin looks great.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I've never been able to pull that off before, and how easy it was is a little. It's almost embarrassing. It was so easy when you see it done and you follow it. You know, I think it's with anything, and I've done this with drawing too. It's very easy to overthink. So.
Sí, dice que Bertie le ayudó mucho a conseguir ese efecto en la piel que él siempre quería lograr, pero nunca sabía cómo. Así que Bertie le ayudó mucho a lograr eso.
Genial. Perfect, Dave. Perfect. And did you enjoy painting like that?
I enjoyed this immensely. I don't think words can describe just how much fun this was. There were just at the end, like you said, establishing everything right in the beginning and getting that tone, and then detailing from there. I felt that right away. The colors just felt great, and it was pure color, pure blue, pure red. I've never tried that. I'm always so afraid of pure color, and it just gave it a huge punch right away. I can't imagine. Well, I'm excited to experiment and keep trying this method.
Great. Yeah, you need to experiment and use a lot of colors. A lot of colors. Don't afraid.
All right.
Without afraid.
And I need to be not afraid to fail. That's something. It's so easy to fall in the trap of getting too close to a picture and not wanting it to fall apart, and so being tentative with it. And working really quickly with this one, I think that I did things that I would have not tried otherwise.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think we're finished with this one.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I want to say thank you again to Ariel. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this with us. Everyone, please not only check out Ariel's work, you can find it all over, comic book covers, all over the place. What are you working on right now? What book?
I'm working on a particular book with a ver, Juan, si me ayudas. Es un cliente particular que me encargó un libro y estoy trabajando en un libro particular. Cuando termine este libro pienso volver a Marvel o DC, no sé, donde sea.
Entonces, en ese libro que estás haciendo es privado, ¿no? Y luego recién vas a trabajar en cosas más para el público.
Sí.
He says he's working on a particular book for a client, and once he's done with that, he's going to go back to working on more popular books for Marvel and big companies.
Well, great. Well, we're definitely looking forward to that, and also you can find Ariel's work, his tutorial work. He's got acrylic and watercolor, anatomy, all sorts of different, basically the entire body. Also, tutorials on working on the computer, working digitally. Ariel does every medium incredibly well. So I highly recommend you check out all of his stuff on domestica.com. You can find the link in the description of this video below. And thank you everyone for coming and spending some time with us and watching and hopefully painting along. And I'm sure if you did, you got just as much out of it as I did. And Eric, you want to say something?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ariel's hands down one of the biggest art influences I have, and it's just been it's just been incredible just watching him work live and hearing it, his pearls of wisdom. Ariel's also got some books. He's got a Drawing Superhero Anatomy, which is absolutely incredible, as well as Drawing Monsters. And there's a link in the pinned message to Ariel's link tree. And you can actually order his books from there. They are bilingual. It's both Spanish and English. So
exactly. Thank you.
yeah, they're just having the way Ariel draws muscles and just having that reference in front of you is super helpful. So yeah, thank you, Ariel, so much. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Before we wrap it up, we have one more super chat from Johnny D for $5. Thank you very much. And he says, Ariel, appreciate your work. How did you first get started in comics, as well as any last-minute tips for beginning painters?
Juan, a ver, ahí me perdí.
Sorry, Dave, you can repeat the question?
Does Ariel have any last-minute tips for beginning painters?
¿Tienes algunos consejos para pintores principiantes?
Sí, mi consejo es que trabajen antes de trabajar en una pintura, tengan el dibujo bien terminado y sabiendo exactamente dónde va a ir la luz y dónde va a estar la sombra. Eso es mi primer consejo.
Yeah. He says that before you start painting, before you start adding any color, you always need to have a really good drawing. So focus a lot on the drawing, and also have your light source very well defined, so that you know where all the lights and shadows are going to be. So before you start doing any painting, always have a really good drawing.
All right.
Y después, mi segundo consejo es que disfruten de esto, del placer de dibujar, de pintar, sin necesidad de que el único objetivo sea publicar. Que disfruten porque es hermoso esta tarea.
He says that his second advice is to always enjoy, drawing, painting, whatever you're doing, without thinking about making it public or becoming famous for doing this. Always just remember to enjoy the pleasure of drawing and painting.
I think that's great advice. I think really the most successful artists are always the artists that do it for the joy of doing the actual job. So, all right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up there. That way, Ariel can take a break, and I'm sure he's got a lot of work to do. So, thank you everyone so much for coming, and we will see you all next week.
See you later, Chad.
See everyone. Thank you.
See you, and thank you very, very much for the invitation.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.